let's see here. What do I have? Oh, I think I have that from last week. Here's the first thing we did last week. No, downloads. There we go. So this is the first thing we did last week. Oh, you know what? That's not going to work because I'm going to move this and it'll delete when I move it. So let's see. How do I delete? Oh, remove. There it is. It says remove, not delete. Bob, always first, Bob. Let me see. Put this in our YouTube folder. So, okay, now when I drag this over, because see if I move the JPEG to a different folder, then it won't show up here because it's just. So again, we've got. I moved the camera a little bit. Yeah, it's not very big. I mean, I know you don't mind when I block my face, but this is what was the basic thing that we started last week was. Oh, actually. We actually started simpler than that. We started just with the A and the bass. So we didn't have the alternating bass there. You can see the A string and then the E string, that thing. So we're gonna pick up and do some more of this. Good morning, Joseph. Pepper, what's going on? Hey, Bruce. So I'm a little late. Just I had to do some. I forgot to do last week. The finale dot, you know, the tablature for last week. I didn't do it until this morning. Combination of busy and forgot. One begets the other. I know you understand. And I only did a couple things here just to kind of. I think I'll show you this. Today's Alex's birthday, too. Alex's birthday today. Let's see. Happy Mindat. I don't know what Mindat is, AJ. Who else is in the house? We're getting there. Oh, you're stuck on YouTube ads for now. Sorry about that. Only should be a couple. Hopefully they're short. I appreciate you watching the ads. That's where the revenue comes from. So, and I still haven't finished that video. I don't know. I actually have, like, on this computer and on my laptop, I have lists of video ideas, and I needed to start chipping away at some of those. I've just been so busy, and I think part of what makes my channel valuable at all is that I'm an actual working guitar player doing a YouTube channel. You know, kind of like Tim Pierce, although his looked much better, especially with all those amps around him and everything. It's pretty funny. I haven't been to his place, but I'm like, when I'm looking at it, I can't see where he goes in and out to that. But he's always been that guy. I wanted to be that guy, the guy that had all the amps and showed up with all the heads and the different cabinets and all that stuff. And I started to buy, you know, in the 90s and even into the 2000s, I was buying, you know, procuring amp heads and things like that. But just never became that guy. The guy that gets called for albums and to dial up that perfect tone for whatever, this and that and the other. But I still work on albums, but usually what I'm doing is I'm writing on albums. Although I just was working on an album today, or this weekend, Saturday. I got family in town, so I'm you know, trying to but I actually the artist really likes what I did, so I'm not going to do any more on it necessarily. But I had some fun. I used this pick, this weird pick. What was it? What's Pick Attack? What's the name of the company again? Attack Pick. And it's super duper bumpy. Look at the bumps on that. Look at the ridges on that. See, it's like teeth. Uh-oh. Thanks. Oh, did somebody say something up there? Is this tab on Discord? Yes, that tab is on Discord. Yeah, sorry about that. Is that better? Yeah, I just uploaded it. So, yeah. I just uploaded it. So it wasn't up there until just this morning. And so, yeah, I used that, and I can't. This sounded pretty good. Let me see if I can find it here. This is it. Oh, I can turn up here. Really biting. I like it. It sounds very synthy. And I heard, for some reason on this song, I heard it just reminded me of Queen. So I did this. I even called it Brian May. I did this kind of second verse thing, and I'll get to the lesson here in a second. This is kind of what I did on the second verse. It's just I think it's A to F sharp minor. It's that middle note. Give it a little bit of vibrato. Yeah, so that's, what did I do on the chorus with that sound? I did this. The single bass note doubles, really just with that vibrato, I kind of dialed up a Brian May tone. Yeah, so it's just, I was having fun. For some reason, I was channeling Brian May on some of the rhythm stuff I did on this. I did a lot of acoustics, and then I did some alternate electric stuff. I did just straight out power chord stuff, which is always, oops, no, I want to solo these. And I make them kind of bright. They're pretty bright. But the producer will probably like roll off the top end a little bit. But it's hard to add top end to tracks like power chords and stuff like that. It doesn't sound right. So if you start with a brighter power chord sound, and then the producer can kind of roll off the top end a little bit and anything. But oh, thank you. The Star Wars. Yeah, the last game. I haven't heard. I mean, I've listened to some of the score because it's so amazing. I haven't heard myself because most of what I did was like pads doubling string, you know, like not ostinatos, but string pads and things like that, just to kind of give it another worldly sound. And I did a bit of it, and I said, did it get used? And they said, yeah, it totally got used. So. They even called me and asked me if it was okay to put my name on the credits because it was non-union and they didn't want me to get in trouble with the union, and I'm like, I'm actually Beck status with the union, so I'm allowed to do non-union stuff. They can't punish me. They don't let me. Like they sit on my checks for a long time. I noticed that because I'm Beck status. They don't like that I'm Beck status. I still pay the full amount every year, even though I don't have to. I pay the full dues every year. So the difference between the full dues and what I'm obligated to pay, it's full dues minus any of their political action stuff. And so the Supreme Court ruling, it must have been Beck. There was another ruling too. There were two Supreme Court rulings that said you can't mandate someone to give politically, and whether you agree with them or not, it doesn't matter. You can't mandate that. So that's what unions have to allow for that. And the musicians union doesn't really. They use almost all the money they get. They don't really do too much political action stuff. But the other reason is because I don't want to have them like say, hey, you owe us dues for this session you didn't, because it's like I can do non-union stuff. But I mean, literally 99% of my work is non-union. So it's, if I only took union work, I would be working at Chick-fil-A because I wouldn't have enough work to live on. So, and they would argue that I could do a union contract on everything I do, but you can't. Because then I become the signatory on the union, and it's like, and I don't want to be the signatory, and that means I have to pay these giant amounts of checks and things like that, and so it doesn't make any sense. I would lose money there as well. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah. So and what I do with my dues every year is they have a destitute musicians fund or something like that, and so what I do is I pay the full amount, and the amount that I have to pay and the amount they normally pay, I take that difference and I send it to the destitute musicians fund. So it's like I'm not like trying to get out of paying money. It's more that I want to make sure I keep my options open. So I guess I'm up another 1,000 subs. It seems like it's going really slow, Bruce. If Paul Davids ever does that video about our time together, I feel like we'll get some more subscribers. And if I started to do some videos again, I need to just go through my list and go, okay, because this one that I'm editing, I'm almost done. I'm really getting close, but it's now, once I'm done putting all the images and the diagrams and everything in there, I have to go all the way to the beginning and then make sure that I'm using the same, like all the images they have. If I'm going to use drop shadow, I may just not even do that because it'll save time. But I got to have the fade in and fade out. I don't want an image just to abruptly show up. It's got to have a slight fade in, so it's a little smoother. I still say okay way too much. It drives me crazy when I'm editing the videos. I'm like, okay. Like Mr. Hand from South Park. So let's just go over what we did last week, and then this is kind of what we did. And what I'm going to do actually here, hold on a second. I'm going to delete it. I'll move this make it small. Like, oh, I can't see it. I'm going to chop just the first bar out. I'm going to copy. I'm going to duplicate this. Okay. And then I'm just going to go. Let's just look at the first bar, and that I can make big. Okay. Good. Dang it. All right. Here we go. Put that there. All right. So that's actually pretty big. So what I'm doing now, again, let's not worry about that low E there. Let's just play A in the bass twice. So it's be this. And that's basically a Bossa Nova feel right there. That's just the most basic of the Bossa Nova feels. And I'm grabbing the third and fourth string with my first and second finger here. So I'm grabbing the two middle strings with these two fingers, okay? And I'm grabbing the bass notes with my thumb. Oh. Oh, pad. Pad basically means I would say swells too, but swells could be single notes. A pad would be. Let's see if this is. I can do a pad with this sound. You know, if I were to. Is actually a synthesizer term, and so when if you have a synthesizer or you've got a keyboard like a synthesizer in your computer, and I load a synth and it'll have like, you know, different types of sounds. It'll have all the sounds in different folders, and so like one might be electric keyboards, and one might be acoustic keyboards, and one might be lead sounds, and then there'll be one. Almost in every synth it'll say pads, and those will be ones that are really warm and you just kind of hit them. There's no attack to them, so you don't hear ping. You just hear kind of the sustain. There's something called an ADSR, which is attack, decay, sustain, release, and everything has ADSR. Every sound technically has ADSR. I'll do this. The attack is the initial thing that you hear. The ADSR, AD, sustain is how long that sound lasts. Let's see, AD, or decay, how quickly that, like on a plucked guitar, it's pretty quick. So anyway, the whole notion of a pad is something where you kind of remove the A, like you fade in the A. A lot of times it'll look like this. It'll be like, boom, like a spike, and then it'll fade out, and then it'll slowly fade out like that. A lot of sounds like a piano guitar. Like if I hit this, it's kind of what's happening. It's like boom, and then it just slowly fades away. So I use a pedal to get rid of the attack to create a pad type sound. So that's what I mean. Does that make sense? Yeah. No worries, John. Squirrel. My sister was here yesterday too from Boston, and the kids were cracking up because she's just like me, like squirrel. She just is easily distracted. All right, so if we look back up at this again, don't worry about changing the bass note. If you can do it. That's fine. But the rhythm is, you see the ties? See those little arches? Okay, that means you don't hit that third chord there. You hit the first two. And then you don't hit that next one because the first one is tied to that, and then you have a dotted eighth note. But basically, what you want to look at is that 16th. Okay, the double little lines there, right up here, on the up there. That means it's 16th. Well, here's what's interesting, because you're tying a 16th to an eighth. Technically, the rhythm we have there is an eighth note and two eighth notes. Or I'm sorry, an eighth note and two dotted eighth notes, because that tie, I could write a dotted eighth there instead of those tied notes, but you always want to see the different beats delineated in music. That's why you'll have groupings like that. So the reason it's written that way is so that you can see beat 1 and beat 2. And again, we're in 2/4. That's very common in Brazilian music. You can totally play it in 4/4. You can write it in 4/4. It doesn't matter. But Brazilian, they often will, orchestrators will often write everything in 2/4. Boom, 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 and they got all these subdivisions and different instruments are playing different places. And their phrases will last 2 bars or 4 bars or whatever. You know, you might have a phrase that doesn't repeat rhythmically for 4 bars, which would be 8 beats. But this is redundant here. We can just loop this. We can go. And if you want to work on that. And just move it down a fret. So what I'm playing is I'm using my 3rd and 4th finger on the 3rd and 4th string at the 6th fret. That's not why I'm using my 3rd and 4th finger, but that just happens to work out that way. So I'm at the 6th fret, which you can't really see because I don't have fret markers. I have them there. Okay, but there's the 6th fret. And then I can just move it down here. The chord I actually use is this one, where it's 4/5, which is a little bit sexier in my opinion. Sounds more 60s. Oh, he was in I know what Kenny Rogers was in. He was in the minstrels. The Westmin. What was it? What was the name of the minstrels? I can't think of it now. New Christie Minstrels. Right? Okay, folk singer. He was a folk singer. That's right. I knew you were in New York. How was the Michael Jackson Broadway show and the Yankee game? Did they win? Or were you rooting for them? Oh, the first edition. Oh. I don't remember that one. Okay. So we have the... And again, we clapped it. You can really hear the 16th note when you clap. Dun, 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 dun. Okay? So you have 8th note, 16th note to a dotted 8th note. Okay? Hey, Sam, what's going on? And again, you could play more strings than this. You could play the open B string with this. Got to take it to the next level. You could also go like this. You go, or you go, let's see. So you're kind of making it move a little bit. You can have it like almost more of a melodic movement, because otherwise it's just... So if you do, or you could even do, you could go back and forth with your first and second finger and grab different strings. And all I'm doing there is I'm just kind of taking my first and second finger and playing the middle 2 strings, and I'm playing the second and third string, and I'm playing the first and second string. And I say all I'm doing. It's actually not easy at first. So. Oh, nice. Aaron Judge hit 2. So earning his keep. Getting paid, what, $2 million per home run or something like that? Okay, so now we can try this same pattern, but let's do the alternating bass, because that makes it really more interesting too. Okay, we can. This is a reiteration of last week's lesson. I find that oftentimes I get excited about a new style of music, and I'll pull out a book or something like that and work on it and learn it pretty thoroughly, and then I won't pick it up for a week and I'll forget everything. So I'm kind of assuming you kind of like, oh yeah, you kind of had it down last week, but you didn't really practice it during the week. All I did was I'm anticipating that first hit. So instead of hitting the thumb and the chord on the downbeat, I'm playing the chord on the of 4 or of 2 before I hit the thumb. So I'm doing like, and and then you have to change early, and that's the second one. Hey, Brad, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. I played at Brad's father's funeral. It was amazing on Saturday morning. You can give Brad your condolences. All right. Let's see. So, and that one, let's see, I did the Bossa Nova too. So this one's here. This one has the anticipations, okay? So you can't see the guitar, but it is what this bottom one sounds like. That's what that sounds like. And so the faster tempo, let me play it faster. Yeah, that's what that sounds like. Let me move this over. I wonder if I have any Brazilian loops. Let me whatever. Let me see. Go to loops. Instrument. Percussion. Afro-Cuban. No, that would be 12/8. Let's see. Bossa. Brazilian bossa drums. This tempo is too fast for this. The tempo on this is really fast, so let me change the tempo here. Just go to like 120. See what that sounds like. That's 120. It says 125 is kind of the is what the pattern is. I don't really hear the beat there. Oh, this is long. These are long. So, and I'm going to show you that, but before I show you that, I want you to get down this anticipation. Well, we can play this. We can play it with that rhythm, that simpler rhythm that's right here, okay? Bam, bam, boom, bam, okay? But we do want to have the alternating bass. So let me show you the chords we're going to use for this, okay? The first chord is C6-9, all right? And everything, the chords are going to be voiced, all the chords, the fingers are going to be 3 fingers, and we're going to voice them on the 4th string, the 3rd string, and the 2nd string. So if you want to just line your fingers like that, you can even just grab the middle 5 strings like this and practice pinching like that. So I'm plucking down on the thumb and then up on the fingers at the same time. Okay? And ultimately the rhythm is going to be, okay? So what I'm doing there is I'm plucking the thumb and the fingers together, 3 fingers again, not my pinky. And then I'm plucking the 3 fingers. And that's going to take some practice. plucking those 3 notes and then getting your fingers back on the strings in. And I can tell people are doing this right now because they're not typing. Should I have an F sharp in it? No, sometimes it's nice just to have everything in the key of C, and it's fine if I have, because there's really, when you're going between A major 7 and A minor 6, there's really, you can't say there's a certain key. You don't want to maybe commit to a key. So sometimes putting a song in the key of C is a non-committal key. You just go ahead and deal with the accidentals in every bar. Or yeah, so it's just kind of part of the thing. But finale kind of does it automatically if you do it right. So you hurt your right forearm. Okay, so then what I'm doing, I'm sorry, Catherine. So again, thumb and fingers together. Yeah, and you can take it really soft. Don't. It should always be kind of soft anyway. You don't really. I always tend to work too hard. It's like I was just talking. The kids were playing Nintendo. They were and they were doing those paddles. And man, I would always push them too hard, and I'd like, oh, my thumb hurts. Like because I'm always. It's like it doesn't matter how hard you push it. But yeah, you can go easy on it. But I'm basically playing thumb and fingers together. Then just the fingers, and then just the thumb, and then the fingers right after that. So it's like bump, bump. Remember the rhythm is bump, 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 bump. 1 and 2 E, 1 and 2 E. That's the rhythm. Now, try to alternate the bass. So the first time we hit the A string, the second time we hit the E string. So it should sound like this. Yeah, John, I don't know if that's a thing. If I was going to have a lot of F sharps, if every bar had F sharps in them or something, then I might go ahead and put the song in the key of G. But yeah, a lot of times we'll use the key of C because it's just changing keys so much. Why commit? And the nice thing about the key of C, every accidental shows up. If I were to write that out, say, in the key of A, then you wouldn't have any accidentals until you got to that C natural, and you'd be like, oh, we're in the key of A, But if with all those accidentals, you immediately know what notes you're playing. So again, thumb and fingers together, fingers, thumb down on the string, and then answer with the fingers. Okay. Now at some point you're going to want to anticipate, and you won't always anticipate every downbeat chord. You'll be like. You can see that every other bar I'm anticipating the downbeat chord. 1. Here. See that? So you play, the way you anticipate is before you get to that downbeat, which is the A, you play the chord. Try that. Kind of the opposite of beat 2, where we're going bass, chord, bass, chord. Here we're going chord, bass, chord, bass. All right, but this is kind of blah because I'm just using open strings. But sometimes it's good to separate the two hands, the two elements, and just work on one thing first and get it down. And then when you start to input the data for the left hand, then it's a little. You've already got half the work already figured out. So I will do that oftentimes. I'm working on a Villalobos piece or something like that. Then I might get that finger picking pattern down. It's a challenge, So, Let's see. All right. So, all right. So let's go over the chords we're going to use for this kind of Ipanema thing. You know, the would it be? So it'll be let's see. We only have 3 chord shapes that we need to learn, okay? The first one is the, like I said, the 6-9 one, which we'll only use over the C. And then we're going to go to D9, and then we're going to go to D minor 9, then we're going to go to D flat 9, and then back to C6 9, and then back to D flat 9. Those are our they're just 3 different shapes. Ultimately, it's 1, 2, 3, only 4 chords anyway. So 3 different shapes. Okay, so and again, we're going to alternate bass notes. So I'll do this. So the first chord is C, 6/9 is typically how you would write this. And I'm going to put the bottom note in parentheses like this. And then here, 2, 2, 3, X. There's the chord, all right? So the reason I put that one note in parentheses is because that's note. So if you want, so basically the way I'm fingering it is I'm putting my second finger on the bottom string, and then I'm barring at the second fret, I'm barring the 3rd and 4th string. Okay, so I'm getting C, and then E, A, that's the 6th, and here's the 9th. So I got a root, I've got a 3rd, and I've got the 6 and the 9. No 7th in this chord. A major 7th might work, but a dominant 7th wouldn't work. That takes it in a completely different direction. We saved that dominant 7th for the second chord, where that really, it kind of creates some beautiful sounds there. But we actually have the 5th in this, so we actually have every note in this because we're alternating in the bass to the 5th. So we have the root, the 3rd, the 5th, the 6th, and the 9th, every note. And I always think of this as kind of the Elvis chord, right? Oh, wait, what's the 6-9 chord always sounds like the Elvis chord to me, like the way you would end a song in the 50s. All right. So again, so then I've got my 3rd finger on that D note there. So I've got second finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, first finger covering up the 2nd fret on the 4th string and the 3rd string, and then 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Okay, can you get that? And again, I'm just playing the middle 4 strings. If you're kind of working on it, getting it sound, try to practice the first beat of the pattern. And you will do the pattern twice for the chord. So we're going to do the pattern for the first 2 chords. We're going to do it twice. For the next 4 chords, we're just going to do it once each. Still, it ends up being the same amount of time, but it's like. I'll try to keep it simple. I could even not alternate the bass, but the bass movement, it makes it feel very Brazilian. And you're basically being the bass player and the piano player. Okay. All right, so that's the C6-9 chord. Back in the 70s, I think we called it C6 add 9, but that's just too much work. We'll just call it C6-9. Okay, the next chord is just a D9 chord. All right, and what this is second finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string, first finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string, third finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string and pinky on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. So everything but the first finger is on the 5th fret. And I call that the James Brown chord, right? Like that would be an E. This is a D. So it's a D9 chord. Okay, let me write this out. And I'll do the same thing where I put the bass note in parentheses. So D9, and D9 has a dominant 7th in it. It's not a major 7th. Okay, so here's D9, 5 in parentheses, then 5, 4, 5, 5, and an X. That should be it. All right, so the first chord is C6-9. Just play that. Try to grab it with the thumb and 3 fingers, like that. And then let's just go up to D9. Okay. And one of the things I love about this particular progression is it's really kind of a tight, there's no like really big hand chords in it. It's all small hand chords. Small hands can play all these chords pretty well. The next chord is going to be the hardest chord. But for the most part, like I said, there's only 3 shapes. We're dealing with the 6-9, the 9, and the minor 9th. And so there's only 3 chords shapes in this, and ultimately only 4 chords total in this little progression I'm going to show you. So what I always suggest doing is, make this chord and then the next chord. And you could put your pinky there instead of your 3rd finger if you want. So then all you have to do is add your 3rd finger here. But I don't know. For me, it's not too much work to go there because you might want that pinky up here. And here. It wouldn't do that. Might do something like that. Anyway, that's next level. It's not like 18 levels away. It's just the next level if we were to add those notes in there. But okay, okay. So you can practice. You can even practice the thumb chord or the whole thing at once, or maybe hit the whole thing and then hit the chord and then move up to the D9. Don't like hit this 15 times and then move up to D9 and hit it 15 times. The whole point is to practice the change. So you can even just go 1, 1. 1, 1, 1. Oh, it's probably pretty sloppy, but you can see the. Generally, when Catherine's asking about the string, yeah, generally I would have had this high E string be a little bit more. It's straight from. I would have had to try to get it more towards this. I didn't string this. My guitar tech did so. Yeah, it's not. In fact, he put knots in here. I don't normally do that. So I don't think he does a lot with nylon strings, to be honest. But I just had him, all I had him do was put a new saddle in here. I could have done it, but yeah, I like giving him the work. You can see. You can see my computer's in the reflection of the headstock. Okay, so you can practice this, alternating the bass, and then go up to the D. Do the same thing. Okay, the next chord is D minor 9th. Yeah, Paul McCartney strings. Yeah. Oh yeah, he did have black strings in it. Yeah, I don't know. It's these are Suarez, so I don't know if they existed back then, but they probably did. The packaging looks like it's from the 40s. So all I'm doing with the D9, okay, this one, all I do is move the first finger down. So we got that F sharp, we're making it an F natural, which makes this a D minor 9th. Okay, so it's middle 4 strings, but we're gonna go down to the 6th string for the bass note. But we have 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 5th fret. So you can practice going back and forth between D9 and and D minor 9. Okay, let me write this out. Thanks, Bruce. I don't think there's any new viewers. There's not many people watching right now. I mean, we've only gotten to 19 is the highest we've gotten, which is really low. I don't know. It's probably because the weather's good and people are like, no, I'm not watching Tom. I'm going to go outside. Also, like, I haven't done new videos in a while. So, let's see. And also, when I get if Paul Davids does do that video, I haven't talked to him in a while, but if he does that video, yeah, we may get a lot of new people asking a lot of questions. Like, who do you think you are? Those kind of questions. Let's see. Okay, 5. Okay. Oh, wait, I got to write the name of the chord. So D minor 9th is, we're going to have the bass, the 5th and the bass there on the 5th fret of the 6th string. And then it's going to be 5, 3, 5, 5, X. That's that chord, okay? D minor 9th. Okay, so we can practice play C6-9, play D9, and then D minor 9. And then the cool thing, the next chord is D flat 9. So we're just going to leave our first finger where it is and slide the fingers down like that. Isn't that a great sound? This is the hardest chord. It's a good workout though, you're right. In fact, I would say that it's a very good chord to practice with smaller hands, because what you're doing is you're creating, you got anchors, you got 3 anchors here, and then you're kind of forcing your first finger out. So you're kind of stretching the distance between your first and second finger. Without having to reach your pinky way out or anything like that. You're getting some strength there. And again, always, if you're having problems, get your thumb behind the neck. Like, if it's going to be very difficult to play any chord that's spread out at all if your thumb is up here. So you're really going to, and you don't need to mute the bottom string because we're going to be hitting the bottom string. Nice. Poor guy. Yeah, I know. I wish I was an outdoorsman. My son-in-law is here, and he's a fisherman. He's like really into fishing, and I'm like, okay. I told him, I said, see if you can find any place to fish here in LA, and next time you're down here, I'll go fishing with you. And he'll probably be like, oh man, you get bored so fast. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah. Has it been an hour yet? It's like, I've just always got things to do. I'm always like, oh, I could do this and I could do that. Okay, so yeah, and this chord, this D9 chord, which is the same as the D7 chord. I'm sorry, D flat 9. The D flat 9 chord, it feels like a big relief when you go from that D minor 9 to the D flat 9. And so D flat 9 is, I think we have 20 now. D flat 9 would be this chord. So again, I'm going to put parentheses the bass note there, and then it's 4, 3, 4, 4, and X. Okay, and like I said, that chord's going to feel real nice after playing this chord, if that's difficult, and it is. I can feel, Catherine, I can feel a tension right there, having that finger reach down, and also it doesn't hurt if you go with more of a classical. I feel like if you sit, with your the bout of your guitar here on your left leg and prop your left leg up. I don't do that here because I want to be able to have the guitar kind of in the frame here, and I can put crap over here and all that stuff. All right. Yeah, hit the like. Oh yeah. And I apologize to anybody that was watching last week's video later. It had 1 million ads in it. I took those ads out. Just a pro tip: if you are watching one of my videos like live, if you're going back and watching one of the live videos, and it's driving me crazy with ads. I didn't put those in there. YouTube does it. I enable ads, but I just want one every 30 minutes or so. I feel like you'll put up with an ad for 30 minutes of teaching, but so I go back. I don't usually think about it until the next live stream. I go, oh shoot, like today I did that. I went back and I saw that they inserted a bunch of, and a couple weeks ago they didn't do it, but last week they did it as normal, and I went and deleted them all and put one ad in or two ads in every 30 minutes. So you should be good. If you click forward past an ad, they're going to make you watch an ad. That's always been true. So, and I appreciate that. And I set the ads to be non-skippable, because those, if you skip the ad, I don't think I get anything. So if it's non-skippable, I do get something for every view. So I've been changing all my videos, the old ones and everything, to non-skippable ads. But when it's non-skippable, the ads they're never more than 15 seconds, and usually they're 5 seconds. So yeah, so if you're at home, you can totally put your guitar like this, and it's a little bit more ergonomically, it's a little bit more in line with your body. You can also, don't forget to mess with your adjustment of your elbow. If you're really digging your elbow into the side of your body, it's going to really limit your hand. You got to keep that elbow out sometimes. So you'd be amazed at like look how much the elbow actually affects my hand, just moving the elbow out. So don't put it here, but like that, you know. So, okay. Oh, Dennis is at a concert. Yeah, he's going to a lot of shows right now. Yeah, I am going to a show at Hollywood Bowl in June. Also, I will be gone 2 weeks in June. So 2 Mondays in June. I won't be here. I can talk to you about it afterwards, but yeah, I've got to hit the road, not touring or anything like that, but and then I will and so we got one more lesson next week, and then be off for 2 weeks. Hopefully that won't, like, you guys won't forget about me and nobody will watch the next one, but yeah, I'm going to go to the Hollywood Bowl to see the LA Phil play a bunch of game music, and some of it was stuff I worked on, which is kind of fun. So I don't know if they're going to have a guitar player or not. I can't imagine, but, well, they do sometimes. Andrew Sinowak does that a lot with the LA Phil. Okay. Hey, Jan, what's going on? Oh, Catherine, I'm looking at your strings at the headset. Yeah, no, like I said, I didn't do that. It was my guitar tech did that. Good eye, though. It's because you got that giant TV screen. Okay, so let's go over these chords. So ultimately, here's the pattern. We're going to be on the C6-9 chord for 2 bars, or actually in 2-4, we're going to be there for 2 bars. Sorry, 2 bars. And then we're going to go to D9 for 2 bars. And then we're going to go to D minor 9th for 1 bar, D flat 9 for 1 bar, C6 9 for 1 bar, and then back to D flat 9. And that's if we were just doing the pattern super duper simple, okay? So I'm just I'll play that, I'll try to keep the pattern this pattern right here, okay? Bum, 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 all right? And I'm going to alternate the bass though. But more than likely than not, you would anticipate some of these chords. I'll do that next time around. Yeah, my Ramirez. I'm anticipating there. Bum, 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 bum. So that rhythm would be bum, 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 bum. 1 and 2 E. 1, 2 E. 1, 1 and 2 E. 1 and 2 E. 1. Oh, okay, Martin, that's good to know. I never even thought of that. I don't really care. I mean, I guess if it affected intonation, or if it affected, like the string going, like is less likely to go out of tune if it's not touching, then awesome. That I have to remember that trick. If it's just to protect the finish, I don't really care so much. Now the Beatles had their classical was Beatles. Ramirez guitar. Was it a classical or was it a flamenco? It looks a lot like this. George Harrison's, boy, it does look a lot like this guitar. Let's see. Can I find a good picture of it? George Harrison's live auctions. Holy cow. George Harrison's Beatle Ramirez classical lot 25A. So it actually went for sale. What did it go for? Can you imagine? Because I think that was like, I mean, yeah, there was a Beatles Ramirez. GH classical. Oh, it was a classical guitar. Okay. It looks a lot like this one, although it looks rounded here. Yeah. Somebody go do some research on that and find out what it went for. I've given her to George in one of the film sequences. Oh, and I love her. That's the one. List of Beatles instruments. Oh, they actually have a GH classical guitar. George Harrison. Huh. It looks, yeah, interesting. Well, it's Ramirez vintage classical guitar Beatles 60s natural. They had this listed for $620 on, it can't be right, in Spain. But it wasn't the original, not the original one, but a Ramirez classical. I mean, I wouldn't think you could get a Ramirez classical for $600 anywhere. Interesting. I'm just trying to find something about that guitar. Anyway, sorry. No, I got coffee. Right here. Was it not in a shot? Oh, I'm going to lose my Starbucks endorsement. Was he going to? It's not in that key. It's not even. I can't remember. Okay, so let's go over these chords again. C6-9 is 3rd fret on the 5th string, 2nd fret barred with my first finger. So get the second get the 2nd fret at for the 4th string and the 3rd string, and then put your 3rd finger there and play the middle 4 strings. 3rd finger's on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Yeah, no problem, Sam. Sorry it took me so long. I'll try to post this one in there too. This thing. I'll do it simple. So just practice that. And again, when we go to the D9, if you have a hard time getting that chord, then just practice this. Just do that. One pluck of C6-9 and one pluck of D9. Okay, and it may be, when you do it, it may be like this. And I'm not making fun of you. I'm just showing you how, okay, eventually you get to this. Because it just gets, it's finger memory. Your fingers remember where they're supposed to be. Okay? We just practice that C6-9 chord. Joseph, sometimes Confederate money, I don't know. It's almost like, yeah, you're being a squirrel. I'm chasing squirrels, but you are the squirrel. Okay? And then when we go to the D9, here's the D9 chord. We're at the 5th fret on the 5th string with our 2nd finger. 1st finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string. 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. And pinky on the 2nd string at the 5th fret also. Okay? And we practice that. Thumb and chord together, thumb and fingers together, fingers alone, thumb by itself, and then fingers. And I'm just moving my 2nd finger there, kind of flipping you off here. All right, and then we go to the minor, D minor 9th, so all we do there is move our 1st finger down. Yeah, well, the problem with the ring finger, it's not down there. So, but on these next few chords, yeah, you keep those two together. It's kind of like a power chord. Keep these two, the 3rd and 4th finger kind of. I even remember I told you I had a student that used masking tape and taped those two fingers together. And he's like, hey, look, I can play power chords now. Because he was doing this, we're like going from A to G, his pinky would drag behind him. So he'd end up with that. It's like he couldn't keep his pinky tucked in with his 3rd finger. So I don't know if it ultimately helped him, but he didn't need the tape for every week. Let me put it that way. All right. Anybody got any research on that George Harrison guitar? But yeah, this is a Ramirez, Jose Ramirez, made in Spain, I believe. Yep, Madrid. It's a 2002. They started in 1882, so this is like the 120th year. Yeah, remember that my interview with Joe DeBlasi where he talks about his Ramirez when he was, did he say he was 19 when he went to Spain and bought it? God, he knew what he was doing when he was 19. That's crazy. I wouldn't have known that. And he went there and he bought this Ramirez, and that's the one he used on the Pink Floyd song that he wrote but never got credit for. Not only did he not get credit for it, they spelled his name wrong on the record. They wrote Ron DeBlasi, which I think is his brother's name, and they were both in the Union, and they probably went, who did we call again? Oh, it was DeBlasi. Oh, Ron DeBlasi. That's it. Like, really? Looking through the Union book, Now it's a Union website. Yeah, it's funny because they always had the Union book, and I never once, ever once my name's in the Union book. I've never once been called, hey, I saw your name in the Union book. It's like, it's probably just for that kind of thing where they're like, oh, what's his address again or whatever. So, all right, so we're at the D minor 9th. Let's get that D minor 9th again. So 2nd finger is on the 5th fret of the 5th string. 1st finger is down here on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. And then 3rd and 4th fingers are where we left them from before, and that was the 5th fret and 5th fret of this 3rd and 2nd string. All right, so the chords so far, C6-9 to D9 to D minor 9th, okay, and then to D flat 9. And those are the only 4 chords in this segment of the song. All right, so D flat 9 is 4th fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 4th fret, and again, middle 4 strings. A great chord progression. And again, we're going to play the D6-9 for 2 bars, and then the D9 for 2 bars. Then we're going to play D minor 9, 1 bar, D flat 9, 1 bar, C6-9, 1 bar, and then D flat 9, 1 bar. So if you add that up, 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 8 bars. So it's an 8-bar phrase. And I'll try to have it out in tab for you next. I'll try to do it soon. I got the week's filling up because, like I said, I'm heading out of town, so I got extra work to, trying to knock out before I head out of town. So. Also, I'm gonna cut this a little short because my daughter, like I said, is in town. So, shoot, yeah, okay, and just try to get that bass line. And yeah, and you could technically on this C6-9, like I said, you could technically have your pinky there instead of your third finger. Then all you have to do is add your third finger. That might make it simpler, but you might, yeah, I might naturally do that occasionally without even thinking about it. And on the tab that I saw for this, the rhythm changes a little bit on that last bar. Let's see. Something like that. Oh, see, I just did it there. Look at that. I just used my pinky there. Oh, that's right. Yeah, where the bass notes, the only time that the bass note's not on a downbeat. The downbeats will be 1 and 2. It would have been on the of 2. So, all right, what else is going on? I'm back. All right, so let me just we can chat for about 15 minutes, setting the guitar down. I could pull up this track and see if I can come up with a good solo for this one section. I don't know. Where was that? The bridge? Ah! Where are the chords? Oh, did I put those away? Oh, I did. Like here. So the chords in the bridge, it comes out of a D minor chord. The song's in D or an A, but it does the minor 4 thing. But it does, the bridge goes to G, so it comes out of the C. So the bridge is like, okay, that's right on the bridge. Let me go back a little bit. So I can kind of get into it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, to G, so then it goes D minor to G to D major to G again to E and then it kicks in. Like I said, I have the vocal muted because I don't want to reveal the artist, but Yeah. So. You know, a solo just can't be like playing through chords. It can't. It needs to sound like it's an extension of the melody. There's actually some vocals going on there, which I would like to unmute right now, but I can't because I might just double what the artist sang. Oh, nice. Salvages old wood. That's cool. Okay, so yeah. So, you know, I like to have a concept. And like if I look at the G chord, the G, the E, I could play a D all the way through there. Weird, you know, the D is going to sound a little dominant over that. It's going to want to go to the E. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it needs a solo, but I always like to give them a solo if they want, you know. So then I could just play the thirds of each chord. So that would be a B, then an F sharp, then a B, and then a G sharp. So that would sound like something like this. So then, okay, so there's the thirds, got the roots, got the thirds, got the, you know, if there are any common tones. Really no common tone. Well, there's a B common between the E and the G. So for the common tone between G and D major, G major and D major would be a D note. So I can do something on the D. There's vocals there on the chorus. The chorus is more fun to play over than that bridge. Bridge is a little bit like, which almost in some ways means it needs a solo because to kind of push it forward. I think originally the first pass I did that kind of like. I did the suspensions on G. Remember we talked about sus chords, right? So I did a 6-5 suspension on G. I did a 2-1. I did a 4-3. All on the G chord. I could even go back up to the 6-5, and that lands me on the D. So check it out. That's not too bad. It's a little. I was too slow. that's it's a little too overdone, trite, you know. I don't know. I'm just kind of I'm showing you my my thinking process when it comes to solos. We've played Oceans. Yeah, we do Oceans a lot. I haven't done it in a long time. Yeah, we haven't done Oceans in a while, but it is a good song. The church really likes it. There are times when you do a song at church and you're like, wow, the church really likes this song. That was the first time I really ever noticed it was Shout to the Lord, which was not a song I like to perform because the range on it is really big. But it was like, it sounded like a radio song. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Bruce. I'm not even in tune here, but I mean that's not a bad entrance. It's that. Let's see. I mean, the thing is, I'm going to a D chord and ultimately an E chord. I'm in the key of A, so I could do a C sharp. So it'd be like a sharp 4 to the 3 sus. That's might be a little weird, but let me see what that's like. Yeah, that sounds a little too prog rocky to me. That sharp 4. The C natural sounds pretty good, especially coming from the D minor chord. We haven't really coming from that D minor chord in the chorus. We haven't reestablished that we're in the key of A yet because we just go to G. So we could technically be in the key of G at this point. It's not going to go blues. You're not going to... I don't know. And I could sit on that D. Nice. I don't know. The chords are kind of they're giving me big like Pink Floyd vibes for some reason. I don't know. I'm really leaning to kind of doing a vibe like I probably could do a total different thing like make it more of an ostinato thing. Although that's really hard to do when you're changing keys. But like I could do something like this for a guitar solo. Check this out. Where you're just basically doing kind of like chord voicing. Yeah, maybe. You know, something like that. It's not very loud. Why is it not very loud? And then let me use a scratchier pick, so I'm going to use this blue Derlin thing. Is it Derlin? Is that right? I forget the name of the company. So not in tune. I don't need this. Okay, so. Yeah, so like maybe really high. I think they're fine without a solo. They didn't really ask for one. I just sometimes like, oh, hey, I'll do a solo over it. But I hate to force a solo. I'm not that's not my forte, soloing. And so I don't, it doesn't naturally come to mind like, oh, yeah, I could put a solo on this. I do it a lot for like games and things, but that's more just because guys are shooting up stuff and you want to be like, yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna take off. Like I said, my daughter's in town. She leaves today, so she and her husband. So I'm gonna spend some more time with them, and I will see you next weekend, and then 2 weeks off, just so you know. And I will try to do this. I will try to do a tab for what we just talked about soon. I'll try to get to it soon. All right. All right, everybody. God bless you. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, we kind of got up there around 25 and it just fell off. Probably because I stopped teaching at that point. So, all right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.